And we are right at 9 o'clock on time. Awesome. All right, let's get going, everybody. Um, oof. So once you're comfortable on your back, you kind of do a little bit of a, kind of a check-in with the body. We want to take a deep breath in and out. Do that a couple times. Um, and it's early, it's cold, so definitely be aware of that today because it affects me for sure when I try to warm up. I even got my hot tea here. So, as we get moving, be aware that it may take longer to feel ready to move. Some parts of the body might feel stiffer, tighter, and that's okay. That's just what we got to deal with right now in our frigid, cold San Diego winter. So do be kind to yourself. And just the fact that you showed up here today to give yourself 1 hour, more or less, of time just for yourself is really a good thing. And it's a busy time of year. We always have a lot of other things going on as well. So just, again, acknowledge that. You gave yourself 1 hour today. And whatever you can get out of it, it's going to be good, right? So if you're kind of just been laying comfortably, let's focus the breathing a little bit more now. We're going to keep the legs extended. You can keep the arms away from the body, same thing. But let's try to refine that breathing now. So as we're inhaling through the nose, we're going to allow it to come into the body, expand. We're going to get into the chest. We're going to feel the ribs and the lungs expanding all directions. We want to get it to the belly, right? That's our goal. And to have it feel natural. It shouldn't be forced. I shouldn't be having to push my belly out. I want to feel that breath come in and just expand everything. And then as I exhale, I'm going to let go of any tension I'm feeling, any tightness, those busy thoughts that keep wanting to come back that we don't need for this next hour. Try to let those go too. All right. So once you kind of get into that rhythm, we can't think about it constantly when we're also going to start asking our bodies to move in many directions, right? But as often as you can, when you get into a point where you're kind of able to just kind of not think of everything that you're doing, check in with the breathing again. There's never a time that you can't just slow it down a little bit, even it out, right? So if you're feeling pretty much ready to move, let's go ahead and we're going to bend the knees. The feet are going to come onto the mat. And we're just going to I like to lift my hips up and feel like I move them just like a quarter inch or whatever further down the mat. Spread your shoulders apart. Lengthen the neck. All right, you should have a little curve in the lower back, and we're just going to keep that there. It's that's how our back is naturally. Have anything that you might use nearby, just so you can grab it without having to kind of get out of the rhythm of whatever you're doing. And then we're going to bring the arms alongside us, and the palms are down. Same thing, we're going to kind of stretch the arm as much as we can, but then relax it. We're not going to force it down, right? We're just going to allow the body to be here. And that breath is going to continue to flow in and flow out. Since I'm talking, my breathing isn't usually perfect, but I do encourage you to, again, as much as you can, keep it even, slow, thoughtful. All right, so we shouldn't take a slow breath in and then just even through the nose, exhale it really quickly. We want to also exhale slowly. All right, so a couple more of those before we add some movement. Again, we'll do a little bit of focus on the lower back here, and also even when we're upright, we're standing, we're going to try to focus in on that lower back a couple of different points and try to kind of hit it from every direction. All right, another breath or two. Again, just kind of checking in with the body, trying to keep everything comfortable here. And then we're going to bring the arms off the mat when we're ready to move. We're going to inhale. The arms are just going to float up and come as far overhead as you are comfortable. And then on the exhale, we're letting the arms come back down. And we're not going to let the hands come to the mat before we are finished with that exhalation. And then again, we're going to keep it moving. So every inhale, we're going overhead. Every exhale, we're bringing the arms back to the mat. So let's just continue that a few times. Again, I like to feel this, not just my hands, but I want to feel every long muscle throughout my arms as they wrap into the upper back. Everything is connected, right? So you might feel it in other places beyond just your arms and hands. Maybe the sides of the body, starting to feel it there. Maybe into the chest, right? As the shoulders start to stretch, it's all connected here too. So just kind of just notice what you're feeling, and if it feels good, or if it feels tight. And then you've got some areas that you can kind of focus in on today when we go a little deeper, all right? So we're just going to do 2 more of these, right? All right, now we're going to keep that going. As you know, we do this so often. We're going over the head inhale. And on this exhale, I'm going to use the hand to just gently pull my right knee to the chest, only while I'm exhaling. As soon as I inhale, arms go back overhead, foot goes down. Exhale, bring the left knee in. And then we're going to go overhead. So let's just work on that a little bit. So alternate knee to chest. All right, a couple more. Maybe you're starting to feel a little bit more, what we say, kind of the back of the legs is kind of letting go a little bit, right? Like it's so tight at first, and then every time you do this, you just give it a nice little gentle pull. As you're exhaling, the muscles are able to lengthen more, the body's able to relax, rather than just if you just started out trying to pull your knee in and stretch out that hamstring. The body's not going to be quite as receptive to what you're doing. Our muscles have memory. You might have heard that before, muscle memory. And really what it means is it's like when you do a movement that you've done over and over again, your muscles remember how that movement is performed. And if you do the same thing all the time, you never change whatever it is, your routine, your strength training, whatever, the muscles literally don't have to work as hard. Keep going with that overhead stretch. It's like they remember what they're doing, so they don't have to put as much effort into it. I know it's a weird concept that our muscles can do that, but that's why we're always trying to change it up a little bit, right? Whether you're doing, even if it's just swimming or walking, doing different strokes or different strides, different speeds, going slow and fast, things like that. But especially when we're doing anything involving these more isolated movements with the muscles, that's why we want to change it up a little bit and do things in a different order, or do things, use more weight, less weight, all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, hopefully our bodies help us with that muscle memory, but also we have to keep challenging it as well. So let's get to that right leg. Let's keep it in now. Take the hands off the knee if it was right there. We're going to slide either to that shin bone. You can also hold behind the leg if that feels more comfortable. And we're just going to keep that knee pulling in nice and easy. And hopefully you're feeling more stretch, more release into that hamstring now. And you're going to feel your lower back pressing into the mat now, right? Because we've got this knee in. So that's another nice thing for the lower back, is for it to be able to lengthen as much as it can with no real strain on it, because we're not bending over or twisting or anything like that. It's just simply being stretched because we're pulling something in and letting the back flatten. Okay, let's go ahead and extend the foot up and then bend again. Let's give these knees a little bit of a warm up here. I feel like I need an oil can sometimes, right? All right, so after you've bent, easy bend and stretch a couple times. Flex and point the foot. When you are feeling cold, especially if you get it in your hands and feet a lot, just move them, all right? Get the blood going. even just doing something like this is gonna feel, that foot's gonna feel warmer pretty quickly. Start to circle around after you did the flexing and pointing for a bit. Again, nice easy circles here. All right, now we're gonna go the other way. Ooh, those cold muscles are really working hard today. All right, now flex and spread the toes as far out as you can. And then point and squeeze the toes together. If you weren't quite focused on that part of the foot when you were doing that, we'll just do that a couple times. Now, I want you to bend the knee. I want you to start to move that leg around, or move the knee out and around, if that makes sense. We're going to just loosen the hip up a little bit. You know, this is kind of up to you, whatever. Like, I sometimes like to bring the knee in and out, so you can circle it. If you go one way, then of course you want to go the other way. But just anything you feel, think about how that, we'll do it on this, the ball and socket go up into that, or the ball goes up into the hip socket, right? And so by doing all these kind of movements, we're kind of just getting that whole hip moving every possible direction. All right. Now, let's go ahead and stretch that leg up. See where you can go on your hamstring here. Just the hip's going to stay down here. And also be aware that you don't let that right hip kind of slide up a little further. And just take your hand somewhere and stretch out that right leg. You can hold the toe, ankle, anywhere. All right, now take the right foot to the left knee. Press this knee away from you gently. Again, thinking about how things are all connected. Sometimes back pain can be from straining the muscles in the lower back, or it could be where the muscles are attaching into the belt, like the pelvis, the back of the pelvis, or the spine. But also we can get back pain from having really tight hamstrings. All right, or really tight hips. Think of, there's so many muscles up here in the back side, right? So this one, we're going to press that knee out, and it kind of starts, that muscle, it goes across kind of the sideways across the glute. It really helps it to stretch out. So let's just hold that knee again, press it out. Don't keep the left foot down for right now. That's all we're going to do with that. Keep it right there. All right, go ahead and take that right leg, extend it up one more time. Just one more breath or two right here before we move over to the other leg. All right, let's bring the right foot back down. Kind of settle everything in. Make sure you've got everything lined up the way that you did at the beginning. Bring the arm right next to you. Take a breath in and out. Again, we're getting back into that belly breathing again, those exhalations allowing us to relax. Let's do that one more time. All right, now take the arms over the head, inhale. On the exhale, now we're bringing the left knee in. We're going to keep it here for a bit. So we start by just pulling the knee toward us. Again, you want to use that external force of the hands, but again, listen to your body. Ease it into the movement. Don't force it in, right? Just keep that knee pulled towards you. All right, and again, we're going to start by just kind of moving the knee around, starting to work into that left hip. And, you know, again, as I always say, listen to your body. I have to listen to mine. There are times when, you know, both of mine being bionic, one hip needs a little bit more work, and it's not necessarily the newer one, the older one. It's just, you know, I don't know what it is actually. It's just kind of how we've been moving. So it's really important to let each side, you want to try to do about the same amount of movement, right? Be thorough with it, with the movements that you're doing and hit everything, but there might be a time when one side needs a little bit more or different work, or, maybe less. Okay, we've moved the knee around, we've warmed up the hip a little bit, and then we're just gonna slowly stretch that leg up and flex and point. Right away, get into that flexing and pointing. All right, that feels good. All right, same thing. Give it, don't just do 3 or 4. Do quite a few before you change that range of motion into a circle, right? Circle all the way around as far as you can go. Circle might get bigger as you continue to warm up. All right, make sure you go both directions. Okay, good. I think I forgot to do the knee. Let's give that knee a little bit of movement here. All right, and now we're just going to go into that hamstring stretch. So extend the leg up, pull the leg towards you. If you haven't done the toe movements yet, make sure that you spread the toes apart, and then you want to point against the toes are coming close together. Do that just a couple times. But then focus more on that hamstring. So as you extend that left leg up more, left hip stays down, of course. You can let the knee bend a little bit. You might feel it a little differently in the hamstring. That might be a better one for you. Or having the leg straight. Try to not press the knee so tight into a locked position. Even if we don't have it actively bent, there should be just a slight, call it like, it's like a little softer, right? It's just like a little bit of a slight little bend here. Now we're going to take that left foot, bring it to that right knee, and we're just going to work the back of the glute. So push that knee away from you. Everything else stays right here. Again, gentle press, right foot on the mat, keeping those hips even. Got one more breath right here. Oh, thanks. My neck is so much better, but sometimes I'll do like a weird movement without thinking about it, and I'll still get that like a stabbing pain. Yikes. All right. Just go ahead and bring that foot back down. Now, come back to that bent knees position. Before we come off of our backs today, let's do a little bit of warm up for the spine and see how that feels on the back, right? We've worked the hips and hamstrings a little bit, so they're warmed up, they're maybe a little bit looser. So now let's focus on that lower back. So keeping the heels lined up with the hip. Now, you can move the feet out a little bit if you need to, but when we're rolling up into this bridge pose, it is a little easier on the body if the heels are as close to the hips as is comfortable for you. All right, so check to make sure everything's in place, right? So we've got the curve in the back right now. We've got the shoulders broad. We've got the arms right next to us. Nice long neck. So when you come up, I want you to try to come up slowly. So each little part of your back is coming up separately. Now I know it's impossible to really do each little vertebrae, but I do want you to have that in your mind. I want you to really focus on coming up slowly. That means you're going to have that slow breath. We're going to be coming up as we inhale. We're going to stay at the top with an exhale. We're going to inhale again while we're there, bringing awareness back into the spine. And on the exhale, we're going to roll it back down inch by inch. And then we'll pause here in bent knees before we do it again. So we're going to do this just a few times. I really want your back to have a little bit of warm up before we stand up. So make sure everything's in place here. Let's take one more full breath in and out before we start moving. We're going to keep our eyes up. Now also when you're lifting the hips up, just be aware of where your knees are, and we don't want to let them to kind of come in toward each other or drop out because we're so focused on the back, we're not going to think. We're going to keep our knee in the same alignment here. All right, so here we go. Take that full breath in and out. And here we go. So on that next inhale, I kind of lift the hips up. You're going to feel that lower back press down. I'm going to continue. I'm still inhaling. As I lift all the way up into that bridge pose, I'm pushing my hips toward the ceiling. I'm going to stay here at the top as I exhale. Now inhale again, all the way to the belly. On the exhale, allow yourself to roll it back down between the shoulder blades, getting into the middle of the back, getting into the lower back. When the hips come down, that little curve happens again. And then we're going to do an inhale, exhale as we are resting here. Let's do that again. So inhale, press that lower back down. And then as it lifts up, continue to roll up. Keep those knees aligned. Press your hips as high as you can. Stay here. Exhale. Inhale again. If you can press the hips just a tiny bit higher. And exhale, rolling back down. Again, slow that exhale down so you can get the whole back all the way on the mat. And a full breath, in and out. All right, now when we get up there the third time, I'm going to add a couple things, just optional things that you can try. And again, if it's not feeling great today because you really you do want to protect that lower back a little bit, you're just going to roll on back down and just wait here for us. But we're just going to try something real quick. So take a full breath in and out here. And then you're going to slowly roll it back up. Take your time. Get all the way up. Now, we're in our bridge pose. We're going to stay here. Exhale. Inhale again. Press the hips a little higher if you can or if you want to. Stay here. Exhale. Now take that right arm and reach it straight up without letting anything else drop. And place that right arm down. Now, remember, you can calm back down if you need to. Left arm, reach it straight up from the ceiling, keeping that bridge pose strong. And bringing that left arm back down. One more option here, keeping those hips high, is just bend the elbows. Keeping that the upper arms on the mat, forearms are vertical. Now let's see if we can reach both arms up. How's that bridge holding? Is your bridge feeling strong? If not, you can bring the arms back down. All right, we're going to try to roll back down from here. So take a breath in. Exhale. We're going to still go through that same lowering of our bridge. And once your hips hit that mat, go ahead and bring the knees in. Roll the back. Gently go right and left a few times. Again, hold the legs wherever you're comfortable. Now circle a little bit. Do a few each way. All right, let's see. How much time have I used up here? Ooh, yikes, almost a half hour. Okay, I want you to come on up, and we're going to roll right over. Come on, roll your side if you need to. We're going to come to hands and knees. Let me just double check to make sure I'm still recording over there. Looks like it's working today. Wonderful. All right, so we're on our hands and knees. Now you want everything lined up always, right? You have the hands spread out. You have them under the shoulders. My hair is so wet. Okay, knees under the hips. So this is our four-legged table, right? So try to keep right now. Don't let the kind of dropping into that lazy cow pose, right? Just kind of letting the hips poke up in the back. Pull the belly in, lengthen the spine, find that nice straight, strong back. Okay, now take a breath in. Now come into cow pose. Lift the heart and chest, keeping everything else active and engaged. On the exhale, we're going to arch up. So the belly pulls in first as we're arching, and then we let that head drop down. But we still have the shoulders and hips pretty much lined up. Inhale, cow pose again. And exhale, cat pose. And inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. We'll do 2 more. Now come back to all fours. Make sure that weight is nice and even. We're going to go to our opposite arm and leg balance. So I really want you to pull the belly tight, keep it working. That is another thing that does help with our lower back sometimes. As we start working that core, keep everything pulled in, and it takes the stress off of the lower back. So from all fours, one leg extends up and back, hip level or lower, no higher. Opposite arm, we're going to reach it forward. Same thing, right at shoulder level. Now slowly bring them both back down. I haven't mentioned breathing yet. We're just doing a little test run to see how it feels today. Bring that other leg up. Notice that my toes are still facing the mat. I'm not changing the angle of my foot. Keep that core engaged, opposite arm reaching forward. Find the balance and then lower them together. So ideally, we're going to inhale as we lift our arm and leg, and we're going to lower them as we exhale and then go to the other side. If you want to take a little bit longer on either side, do that on your own. Maybe you only do a couple each side, but you want to really work on that balance and that core work. So however you want to do it today, I'll probably do about 3 or 4 on each side. But again, slow it down if you want to work it a little bit more concentrated. So whenever you're ready, whichever arm and leg you want to start with, lift it up, inhale, and lowering it, exhale. And right away we go to the other arm and leg. Inhale, lift up, and lower, exhale. So let's just continue that. My focus here is I really want to feel lengthening through the back leg to the heel and through the fingertips on the arm, while also feeling very steady and strong through the middle. Let's do, again, I'm going to do 1 more each arm and leg. Now, as you bring that hand and knee back down, go ahead and move the knees out a little bit. Take a breath in, lift the heart. Exhale into child's pose. So melt down to the mat. Modify your resting pose any way you need to. You like the knees together, that's fine. Bring the arms in if you want to. All right. Real easy flow today. Again, being aware of our lower backs. When we get into those forward bends, I really encourage you to have your blocks ready. Even if you normally don't need a block in a forward bend, think about using it today just again to kind of take the stress off the back, right? Be kind to ourselves. So let's go ahead and from our child's pose, start to walk the hands forward a little bit. Press your palms into the mat. And then we're going to come up to our downward dog. So toes tuck under, hips come up. Those feet are about hip distance, right? Not too close together, not too far apart. Now, lengthen the body. It should feel like someone is behind you, pulling those hips up and back, lengthening the sides of the body. Our weight isn't down into the hands. We're pressing out of those hands, lengthening those arms. Now, we do allow the head to just hang here. So you should be looking at your feet or the back of your mat, not looking straight down near your hands, right? Keep pressing back. And then bring the knees down. Child's pose again. 3 breaths here. and downward dog again. How's it feeling on the second time? Are you able to start pedaling the feet a little bit, or can you shift your weight around from one arm and shoulder, pressing the armpits toward the mat? Again, just trying to take this a little deeper. Now inhale, slowly make your way into a plank. Again, for protecting the lower back, the best option would be to just drop the knees. Modify that plank for today. Now inhale, lift the heart a little bit. Exhale, pull the belly tight as you're lowering. We still want to protect that lower back, elbows close to the body until the forehead comes all the way down onto the mat. Nothing's changing here. The belly is still pulled in. We're going to slide the forehead forward and inhale as we lift our heart. Take your gaze forward, but don't look straight ahead, right? We don't want to pinch the back of the neck. Now exhale as you lower, come all the way back to your child's pose. Once you get back, get that forehead to the mat. Keep your arms forward for a moment because I'm going to have you take this right hand off the mat. Now turn the palm up. Slide this arm under you. Still trying to keep the forehead down, but we're trying to also get that right shoulder a little closer to the mat. Now you can turn your head to the side if that's more comfortable. You can shift more weight into the right shoulder if that's a possibility as well. Still trying to keep our hips back. And then bring that arm out slowly. Let's switch to the other side. Same thing, left palm up, slide it under. Let the rest of your body come back down. So even though our focus is on that shoulder that's under us, this extended arm, you're still getting a nice stretch kind of into the armpit area. So try to feel that as well. And then we'll bring that left arm back out. Both arms extended. We're coming back to our downward dog. We're going to go through that flow again. Inhale, come to your plank or your modified plank. Exhale and lower. Draw those elbows close. Inhale into the cobra. Move forward and up. Exhale back to child's pose. And then come back to your downward dog. All right, now walk your feet forward slowly. Come to that forward bend. As you get there, remember, you've got that block if you need it. We want to bring the feet so that they're under the hips, right? And then hands on the floor or a block. And we're just going to let the body collapse. By collapse, I don't mean let go of anything. I just mean let the body hang, right? Let all the tension out of the back. Let gravity pull the crown of your head toward the mat. And you know, we always talk about this, like the hips being way behind us. Ideally, we want to try to have the heels and hips lined up. So you can shift your weight around a little bit at first as you're easing your body into that forward bend and taking it a little bit deeper. Again, but use those blocks if they benefit you, if they help you. Now tighten the belly. We're going to roll it up. Take your time. Spine stays rounded, belly pulled in. Once I'm upright and I can look forward, then those shoulders are going to come up and back. Do that a couple times. Once you're upright, take a moment, circle the hands. All right, loosen up those wrists a little bit. Go both ways for that. Make a fist, stretch it out, shake it out. All right, so we're in our mountain pose. Draw the shoulders up, and as they come back, broaden the chest again and let the shoulders drop down. Keep the belly engaged. Find that soft energy into the arms. Focus on breathing again. Take a slow breath in through the nose. Feel it all the way to the belly. On that exhale, let go of tension, but we're going to keep our beautiful mountain pose here. Inhale, bring the arms up. We're going to look at the palms, bring them together slowly. They come to the heart. We're going to follow them all the way down. Hands to the floor, round it over. Inhale, come to halfway, halfway lift. So you can, again, use 1 or 2 blocks here, extending the back. Now make sure, if your hands are on those blocks, you don't want to feel this kind of rounding in on the chest. Even if you're using the block, pull the shoulders apart, keep the belly tight, neck is long. Hands can stay here. The belly is pulled in tight, it's always working. Option to extend the arms. But if anything is starting to collapse here, use your external blocks, or you can have the hands on the mat. Now take a breath in, forward bend as you exhale. Now you can roll it back up as we did, or you can extend through the spine, taking those arms out and up, hands to the heart, and back to mountain pose. Again, it's about listening to your body. When you have the lower back kind of like twinging at you a little bit, I really encourage you to use the extra props and roll down and up, and don't try to do the things that you might do any other time, but really listen to your body today. So I'm going to continue the roll down and roll up, and you can do the extension if you like. So we're going to start in that mountain pose. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, bring the arms up. Again, you can extend forward into that swan dive. I'm going to roll down again, keeping my abs tucked in. Hands come to the floor or the blocks. Inhale, lift halfway. Again, straighten the back. Pull the shoulders from the ears. I can also do one arm, still supporting myself on the other hand, and then do the other one. I don't have to take both arms up. Take a breath in. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, extend and come back up, or roll it back up. Arms out and up, hand to the heart, and back to mountain pose. All right, let's do that again. One last time. Inhale. Exhale, forward bend. However you want to get into that forward bend. Inhale, lift halfway, extend. Pause. Come back into your forward bend. And rolling back up. Hands to the heart. And back to mountain pose. All right. We're going to do some real easy warrior poses today. We're not even going to come into them from downward dog. We're just going to start in a standing position. And I want you to start out in a straddle. Okay, and then we're going to line up our warrior one to each side in a couple minutes. Well, we'll do a little bit of work here. So bring your blocks over. Okay, have them with you. This way you won't have to straddle to each side of the mat. You're just going to straddle right here. So have your blocks handy. It doesn't really get in the way, does it? Okay, good. So first off, look at your feet. Make sure they're both pointing to the side of the mat. Make sure you don't have them turned in, turned out, anything like that. And they should be, excuse me, lined up with each other. Now, you should have all 5 toes, you should feel all 5 toes on the mat, right? We're not going to roll in to the inside of the edge of the foot. We're not going to roll out. We're going to have the whole foot maintain contact, but our arches are lifting up, right? Make sure you can feel those arches lifting up. You're not pressing them down. Now, pull through the middle, that little ribbon, pulling us as tall as possible. So even though we're in a straddle, we've still got that upper body lifted. Now take your arms at shoulder height. We're going to do a couple different things here that we don't do often. All right, I'm going to first off have you interlace your hands behind your back. We do this one pretty often. So I'm going to turn sideways just so you can see. As you bring the arms long, the shoulders come back. We can even pull the arms away from the hips if that's comfortable. It might be a challenge just to get the hands together. Now remember, if you can't get the hands together, I'm going to recommend that you have your strap so you can still work on that rotation of the shoulders, right? So rather than holding it this way, as you bring it behind you, I want you to hold it this way, right? So we're getting that, that rotation of the shoulders. Okay, so anyway, we got the arms behind us. Going to take the gaze up a little bit, not overhead ever, in the distance. And again, you can start to pull the arms further away from you, if that's possible. And go ahead, separate the hands, circle the wrists one way and then the other. Now, one other thing we're going to try, we're going to do the other grip in just a moment, but I just want you to try this. 2 options. I'm going to turn backwards. Either bringing your palms, I have to get it started before I can turn. Palms together behind you. If you're like, well, that's not going to happen, I want you to grab your elbows behind you, opposite elbows. All right, so either palms together. Again, that's some pretty intense shoulder rotation. So maybe you want to go this way. And it's going to be the same we always do. You're going to find one that you're going to gravitate toward that's going to feel pretty comfortable. And then later you're going to have to do the other one. So kind of notice like, oh, I have my left arm under my right arm or whatever. So we'll do something in between so the shoulders get a break. So same thing, I want you to pull the shoulders up and back. I'm not moving my forearms away from my back at all. I'm just trying to roll my shoulders, rotate them outward. All right. Now, take those arms out. And right back here. Bring them to the very front of your hip. You know, we've got these little bones right here. I want you to inhale, lift your heart. Pull the belly tight. Slowly come into your forward bend, using your blocks as you get there. Now, I'm keeping my back as long and straight as I can. You can bring the hands further to the middle. You can have them out here under the shoulders. This is whatever feels comfortable. Now, you can either stay here, halfway lift, right? Or I can go further. I can lower my blocks, or I can bring my hands further under me and allow the body to hang, just like in a forward bend. So crown of your head pulling toward the floor. Again, hands wherever you need that support. And rolling up, just like we did. Now you can bring your feet a little closer together if you feel like they're just too far out. But tighten the belly, roll it back up. Come all the way up. Once you're upright, I want you to turn your right foot to the front of your mat. Push your left heel back and just come into your warrior 2 on the right. Once you're there, look over that right hand. We're going to go 3 times on each side angle pose, reverse warrior. So it's going to flow a little bit. So right arm down, left arm up or extended into side angle pose. Come back to warrior 2 and reverse warrior. Side angle pose, so starting your warrior 2 again. Second time, you can do the same option. Maybe you want to do the half bind, bringing the left arm behind you. Maybe you want the left arm straight up. Come back to warrior 2, inhale. Exhale, reverse warrior. And one more time, warrior 2, inhale, exhale. Side angle pose. Back to warrior 2 and reverse warrior. Beautiful. As you come out of that, come back to straddle. Roll the shoulders back. Right away, set up warrior 2 on the left. So left foot points straight ahead. Right heel bumps out a little bit. Bend that left knee, look over the left hand. Side angle pose. Come back to warrior 2 and reverse warrior. Warrior 2 again. Side Side angle, again, any variation, any arm you like. Back to warrior two, and reverse warrior. One more time, warrior two, side angle pose. Back to warrior two, reverse warrior third time here. Now back to warrior two. And then straighten the leg, come back to your straddle. Can you remember which grip you did behind your back? I hope so. Let's do that opposite grip. Pull the shoulders back, lift the chest. Again, moving the arms out a little bit if you like. Release the hands. Now, grab your opposite elbows behind you. Try to get the other arm underneath if you can, or you can do prayer pose, palms together if you can. Oops, I just did the wrong one. Pull the shoulders back, lift the chest. So we're not arching the back here, right? The hips are staying under us. We're lifting the chest a little bit. So it's a tiny little back bend for the upper back, not from the lower back. All right, release those arms, go to shoulder height one more time. Bring them all the way up, inhale. Exhale, bring them back out. We're gonna come back to the top of our mat, so join me over there. How are we doing for time? Yikes. All right, guys, here we go. I'm not even gonna balance today. We're gonna make our way down onto our back and do some nice stuff for the back today. Take the arms up, inhale. Exhale, forward bend. However you wanna get to that forward bend, hands to the floor. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward bend. Bring the hand to the mat. Slowly come back to your plank or your modified plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Take a couple breaths here. Now, before we flip over onto our backs, I do want to do just a little bit for the hips. So you're going to go from your child's pose after you've had a little bit of a break here into a lunge. I'm going to bring one block with me. Right foot forward, left knee behind us. I'm going to take my block outside my right hip. All right? So keep pushing the hips forward. If you happen to be on the other leg, just make sure you do both. All right, so the hips are forward. Again, core is engaged. I'm going to look forward, arms up, shoulders down. So just keep pushing the hips forward. Right now we're working in front of the hip, that hip flexor. Now take the right hand over to that block. Take the left arm up as far as you can and then over toward the right. So now hopefully you're getting even more stretch alongside the body into that left hip. Slowly come back up. I'm going to bring the right leg back, left foot forward, swing it, bringing my block around to that left side. So start out by getting the lunge set up, all right? Move the hips forward. There we go. Bring the arms up, shoulders down. Again, lifting our heart. Taking the left hand down to that left block. Right fingertips reach up even more. Inhale, exhale over to the left. Just using this to help us. We don't want to shift our weight into that block. Just the fingertips or the hand here lightly. And slowly come back up. Come onto both knees. So funny, this is telling me to move when I've been moving. Okay, slowly come down onto your hands and knees. Take a breath in, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, child's pose. Bring the arms in and rest. we come out of that, bring the legs around in front of you, but we're just going to sit cross-legged, so I'm going to face you. Doesn't matter which leg you start on, we're going to do both, and we're not going to be here too long. Okay, so legs are crossed, and again, this is, you can always be on a block or blanket if you like. But we're just going to do a quick little twist here, and we'll do it both ways, all right? Take the arms up, inhale. Exhale, right hand down, left hand going to that right knee. Now inhale, get tall, exhale, twist. So hopefully this is okay on the back. But if you're feeling something, keep it real easy. Just keep your chest maybe toward that right knee or turn the head a little bit. If you can go further, remember the spine stays tall and we rotate the torso, right? Think of that rib cage. This hand in the back, try to keep the shoulder from bunching up around that ear, right? Keep it down as you use that hand to just kind of help you get into that twist. And come back to the front. Roll the shoulders up and back. Take the arms up, inhale. Exhale, twist the other way. So right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you. Now as I twist, I get tall first as I inhale. Then I exhale and turn. And as we come out of it, we're going to uncross. Now remember which leg's in front. Uncross them. Shake them gently. Flex and point the feet a couple times. Cross the other leg in the front. Same thing. Sitting nice and tall. Take the arms up. We're going to go the other way first. So first we're going to go to the left. Right hand to the left knee. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, twist. Ease into it at your own level, wherever you can go with that. Slowly turn back to the front. Take the arms up, inhale. Exhale, twist the other way. Same thing. Think about that back. Stay tall and then go into the twist. Whatever's going to feel comfortable for you today. Now, as you come out of that, I want you to uncross the legs first. Shake them out a little bit. But to get down on your back today, I do want you to lay down on one side, bend the knees, come all the way down, and then roll onto your back. Even if you normally can just roll down, whatever. Today we're being more mindful of our backs, all of us, right? Once I'm down here, I'm just going to bring those knees back in. Ooh, that feels good. Knees to the chest. Any kind of little movement here that you like. Side to side, circling. Now we're going to take both feet up. We're going to flex them hard, slowly point them. Do that a few times. And then I like to always work mine opposite each other. And circle them one way, and then the other. Again, however you want to do it. Now, bring the knees in. Let's keep the right knee in, and we're going to let this left leg stretch all the way out. Again, lower back issues. If this twist like this is too much, come to the bent knees one, right, with the feet on the mat, and even going off center. So when you go to the left, you're going to move your feet off to the right a little bit. But we're going to start with this one, single leg twist. So pull that right knee in. Now open the right arm away from you, taking that breath in. On the exhale, twist and pull this leg across. Keep the right foot connected sort of inside that left leg somewhere. And then press that right shoulder down. Excuse me. All right, a couple more breaths here. And then slowly roll onto the back, right foot to the left knee. Now we can come to that thread the needle like we did earlier, or maybe you're ready to bring the left foot up now. Either way. right, let's uncross, roll the back a little bit, and then keeping that left knee in, allowing the right leg to stretch all the way out. Keep the right hand on the left knee. Inhale, open the left arm. Exhale, twist to the right, knee coming across. Same thing, keep that left foot connected to the right leg. Try to keep that left shoulder down. All right, as we come onto the back, same thing, left foot goes to the right knee, stay here or bring the right foot up. All right, uncrossing. So we're going to do a couple more twists, right and left. Again, we're kind of working our way backward to the easiest, right? So bring the feet to the mat. The first time we do this, we're gonna keep the legs together, right? So feet and knees are touching. Now I want you to bring both your feet, keeping them together, off the center, more to the left. So here I am in the center. I'm just gonna kind of move them over, probably like about the width of my feet. Open the arm, take a breath in. Exhale, go to the right. So it's not as extreme of a twist as we do when our feet are centered, right? I'm just going to, again, I'm going to try to look to the left. If that's too intense, just keep the eyes up. And bring the knees up. Now they're off center. We need to keep them together. Walk them off center to the right. Keeping the arms out here. On the exhale, let the knees drop to the left. So this is a good option anytime, really. If doing the feet together is just too intense, lined up in the middle of the back or middle of the body. All right, and bring it back up. So that was a twist with both knees together. Now we are going to do the last one we're going to do. We have time here. Oops, we're running a little bit late. That's okay. Feet hip distance apart and knees hip distance apart. Keep them apart. This really does target different areas. So same thing. Take a breath in. On the exhale, knees drop right. My right knee is going away from me. My left knee is kind of somewhere almost on the inside of my right calf. Does that make sense? So you're just feeling it differently. Now I let my right leg go all the way to the mat. If you can't do that, you're on the outside edge of your right foot, the inside edge of your left foot. I wish we could stay longer. Inhale, bring the knees up. Exhale, they go left. So now my left knee goes all the way to the mat. My right knee is kind of hovering above my left calf. All right. Inside edge of the right foot, outside edge of the left foot are touching the mat. And again, just kind of just hang out here. All right, bring those knees back up. Bring them into the chest one last time. Massage that lower back. Do this throughout the day if you are doing activities that, your lower back starts to bother you. I notice if for some weird reason, whenever I fold laundry on my bed, my back starts to get achy after a few minutes. So I know it's kind of a pain sometimes to get down on the floor and do this, but you could always get onto your bed and do it. But take a minute, get down, maybe once a day, twice a day, when you're having those flare-ups, when it's really bothering you. Take some time to get on the mat or the floor and just twist and roll a little bit. Now bring the feet down, stretch the legs out long, bring those arms overhead, and as the arms come up, we're inhaling, we're stretching from fingers to toes. On the exhale, relax. Now keep the arms overhead. Just kind of let everything kind of soften up. Fingers curl in a little bit. The toes kind of roll out. Second time, inhale, stretch and hold. And exhale and relax. And last time, full body stretch. Inhale. Now as you exhale, I want you to bring those arms lower than the shoulders. Let the legs open up a bit more. Let the arms move away from each other. Inhale, exhale. Scan through the body, make sure that if you do feel some tension, you've got time to work through it. You can also just sort of focus on breathing, just keep the mind open, keep the body as relaxed as you can. Keeping in mind though that we are cooling down pretty quickly. We won't be here too long, but feel free to stay longer if you like. You don't have to come back up right when we do. Especially on a cold day like today. Even I've got my long sleeves on. I got a little warm during the practice, but now I'm cooling off pretty quickly. So when you do start to move, those movements that we always do, we kind of flex and stretch the fingers and toes a few times. We start to circle them. Today I want you to, if you can, bring the soles of your feet together and the hands together, and we're going to kind of get like a little, like we're starting a fire, right? Rub them together. Kind of hard to do for me, for my feet, but same thing. Kind of rub it, rub it, rub it. Get that, that friction to get a little bit of warmth going. And then we're going to come on up, and we're going to finish however you like. I'm going to bring my hands to my heart and say namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to come up now and chit chat with you guys, and we'll stop the recording.